Be advised, the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Magandang gabi po Pilipinas, maayong gabi sa Tibuok, Mindanao, Visayas ug sa Luzon. Ako po si Eric Espina at ito po ang Republika. Sa gabing ito po ay mapalad po tayo dahil meron po tayong isang panauhin na mahirap pong hagilapin sapagkat hindi po siya kadalasan tumatanggap ng mga imbitasyon sa iba't ibang mga mga dambuhalang mga himpilan sa ating radyo at telebisyon. Pero bago ko po ipakilala siya, ay nais ko pong ipaabot sa inyo na ang usapin po tungkol sa mga nangyayaring iringan dyan po sa Western Philippine Sea at sa Panatag Shoal ay ilalagyan natin po sa tamang konteksto. Kailangan po natin babalik tanawin ang kasaysayan po dyan at kailan po nagsimula ang iringan sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at ng China. Ngayon, ano ba talaga ang nangyayari dyan? Iisang tao lamang po ang nagbigay ng tamang termino sa political phenomenon na nangyayari dyan sa ating bansa ngayon. Siya po ay dating naging Defense Secretary, siya po ay dating senador, at kung i-Englishin po natin, he hit the nail on the head when he said, what China is doing is a creeping invasion. And this kind of terminology must sink into our consciousness today. It is a creeping invasion. I am fortunate to have invited former Senator, Defense Secretary Orlando Mercado. Magandang gabi po.
Hello, Eric. Good evening.
Kailangan pong malaman ng ating publiko na ikaw po talaga ang tagapatnugot nito at ikaw po lamang ang tanging may lakas loob na isigaw ito sa panahon na talagang noong nagsimula ito.
Well, actually, ang mga pangyayaring ito ay napaka-importante sa buhay natin. It's part of our responsibility as leaders, former and present leaders today, to put things into context, no? Sapagkat unang sinusumpaan ng mga taong nagsisilbi sa gobyerno ay yung to defend the Constitution of the Philippines. At napaka-liwanag doon na sinasabing yung territorial integrity ng ating bansa. Napakalaking responsibility natin yan. Malinaw yan. Ngayon, yung mga the terms that we use, etc., may mga dynamics din yan eh. Naalala ko, ngayong nagtuturo na ako at ako'y wala na sa politika, we have the luxury of reviewing itong mga naisulat na tungkol sa decision making. Isa sa mga paborito kong classical studies ay yung ginawa ni Graham Allison. Yung tungkol sa decision making noong panahon ni Kennedy, nung nagkaroon ng Cuban Missile Crisis. Hanggang ngayon, yung classic work niya, no, The Essence of Decision, ay considered one of the best frameworks. Ngayon dun, lumalabas na sa mga desisyon ng mga bansa, complex yan at iba-iba ang sources ng desisyon. At hindi kaagad nabubuo yung tinatawag na consensus o yung desisyon kahit na sa isang crisis. Laging merong push and pull at kung mangyayari nanggagaling sa burokrasya, kahit sa loob ng gobyerno, minsan maigting ang at iba-iba ang posisyon. Ngayon, sa foreign policy, lalo na nauukol sa seguridad ng isang bansa, normal na hindi kaagad nagtatagpo ang posisyon ng mga opisyal na in charge of the security and defense of the territorial integrity, meaning armed forces, meaning the defense establishment.
Yes.
At yung parte ng gobyerno na in charge of foreign policy.
Yes.
At yan ang Department of Foreign Affairs. Hindi agad nagtutugma yan.
Yes.
And understandable yan. At doon nga sa Cuban Missile Crisis, kitang-kita yan na merong talagang creative tension.
Yes.
At yun naman, normal din sa ating bansa. Naalala ko nung ako'y Secretary of Defense. At yung mga problema na hinaharap natin ngayon ay hinaharap rin natin noon sapagkat nagkaroon ng pag-usbong ng mga concrete structures sa Mischief Reef. No? At nagising tayo dahil sa kakulangan natin ng kakayahan na ma-monitor yung mga pangyayaring yon, bigla na lang parang kabuting umusbong. At hindi naman kabuti yun, talagang structure yon na naging problematic yon. No? So, we were faced with serious problems confronting us about what to do. Ang ating articulation nung ako secretary was basically to fulfill my responsibility and the military establishment's responsibility to defend our territorial integrity. Ako naniniwala na minsan nasa kultura siguro natin, no, na we have a tendency to belittle ourselves as a people. Ang stance natin karaniwan, yung bang maliit lang tayo ay isang bansang mahirap. No? We are sometimes engaging in what we can call in English self-flagellation. O para bang hinahagupit natin,
hinahataw natin sarili natin.
Para bang tayong nasa Semana Santa.
Kawawa na tayo.
Kawawa na tayo.
Kinakawawa pa natin sarili natin.
Pati tayo magsalita, kawawa.
Parang natalo na tayo na hindi pa tayo lumalaban.
Yung bang, ano ba naman sa diplomasya, no? Naaalala ko, meron ako mga kritiko noong araw na sinasabi, naman si Orly Mercado, ano bang kakayahan niya kung siya ay magsalita, ay inaakusahan niya yung mga Chinese. Malaking bansa yan, no? Naintindihan natin when I was there na wala tayong kakayahang military to confront these particular issues. Sa katotohanan yan, doon sa mga bansa na claimant countries at vis-a-vis China, no? Vietnam lamang ang maaaring masabi nating merong military capability to be able to confront China militarily. At sila merong kasaysayan din naman ng sila ay nagkaroon ng putukan, nagbangayan. At kahit sa Spratly, sa West Philippine Seas,
sa Paracels,
sila nagkaroon ng insidente in the 80s na yung kanilang mga naval forces, naintindihan ko yan. I went to Kalayaan Island Group, IG, at nakita ko yung kawalan natin ng kapasidad. At alam ko, bilang head ng military establishment, kumbaga sa kung magbangayan doon, maaaring hindi tayo tumagal. Ngunit hindi yun ang punto eh.
Ano ho ba dapat ang attitude natin dyan? Okay, hindi natin kaya ito, pero sa ginawa ninyo, nagpakita kayo ng tapang. You said it the way you saw it, you told the truth, which should be the proper way to approach the problem.
Actually, sa mundong ito, naintindihan ko, ako I fully support how they're carrying it out today. I have no interest anymore in partisan political. I'm not running or positioning to run anymore. I'm happy where I am. But the point, what I'm trying to say simply, is that tama yung focus ng administrasyon na sinasabing, okay, rules-based ang focus natin. At yung, naalala ko yung statement ni Secretary Del Rosario sa ASEAN, because I was fortunate also in the past to have been appointed as permanent representative to ASEAN, or the ambassador to us, the first ambassador. Because ASEAN went already into what is called a rules-based focus as an organization from a consensus-based. Because noong 2008, nagkaroon na ito ng tinatawag na charter. The charter now is the basis of creating a community that is rules-based.
Parang may code of conduct na.
Yeah. Yung code of conduct, hiwala yun. At yun naman, merong agreement din naman yan kung paano yung mga claimant states at ang China conduct themselves. Ngayon, kung ang focus ay rules-based, tama yung sinasabi natin. Dalhin natin sa International Tribunal yan dahil sa meron naman tayong UNCLOS, United Nations Convention of the Law of the Seas. At base sa ating international agreement, importante na tayo ay merong pupuntahan. Hindi naman maaaring bilateral lang yan at kausapin natin yung para naman tayong napakaliit kung ihahambing mo sa with the political power that is a result of the economic power of China and the consequent growth, immediate growth of its military establishment and its armamentarium. Talagang napakahirap ang posisyon natin. Ngunit, hindi nangangahulugan na wala tayong magagawa. Ngayon, naririnig natin ngayon na we are beefing up our military. That has been long overdue.
Dapat noon pa.
But I'm not in a mood to go back and blame people. Kasi ito nung panahon, hindi nyo ginawa, hindi nyo nilagyan ng pera. At ang nangyari niyan nauwi tayo sa isang posisyon na wala tayong maaaring mga choices. But I think we are playing our cards right and correctly.
Yung attitude po natin, I hear so many people, they're saying na hindi naman natin kaya sumabay sa China. Bakit tayo... It feels like it's a defeatist attitude already. How should the common Filipino, the common commentator, address that kind of an attitude?
Alam mo, sa international relations, dapat isipin natin na napakataas ng pagpapahalaga ng mundo, the international community, and nations by themselves, except rogue states, yung bang go by what we call the Pacific means of settling disputes or the peaceful means of settling disputes. Hindi nangangahulugan na kung ikaw ay bumibili ng armas o kaya pinalalakas mo yung iyong military, Navy, Air Force, at saka Army, nakikipagbasag ulo ka kagad. Ngunit, nalalaman natin sa international foreign relations na ang isang bansa na walang kredibilidad ang kanyang kakayahan militarily.
Ay hindi pinaniniwalaan.
Ay mag-uusap tayo. Alam mong wala namang armas itong kausap mo. Alam mong ampaw at lampa. Yan naman. You will be bullied. Natural yan.
Dapat maintindihan ng publiko yan, ano?
Pero kasi ang minsan, it has been oversimplified. Ang laging sinasabi, bakit pa tayo kumuha? Kahit pa tayo kumuha ng mga patrol boats dyan.
Talo naman tayo.
Kahit pa rin tayo, ilang milyon ng hindi naman all-out war yan
Test of wills?
Yeah, test of wills, etc. And sometimes, you have to understand, military strength of a nation is a combination always of the will to fight and armamentarium and armaments to be able to get the job done. I think nakikita natin kasi tayo masyadong oriented to the United States, no? Kita natin, kinakailangan ng military natin katulad ng mga Amerikano. The technological advance and capabilities of the United States are such that when they say shock and awe, pinanonood lang natin yung kanilang invasion sa Iraq, makikita natin yung talagang napakalaki ng kanilang kakayahan.
Okay.
At tayo'y wala. Pero dapat natin isipin na mayroong mga bansang maliliit o kaya nakita natin ang karanasan ng Vietnam na kung ihahambing yung technological level nila sa Estados Unidos ng mga panahong yan, malaki ang pagkukulang. Ngunit, napatunayan na ang isang bansa na marubdob ang damdamin at pagmamahal sa kanya, at nakahanda ang bansa magkaisa at ipaglaban ang kanilang sariling bansa, ang soberanya nila, they can attain and achieve victory. So, many fronts yan eh. The military capability always supports and complements diplomacy. But you cannot be strong diplomatically if you have a military capability that is not credible. Yan ang importante. So I think we are moving towards that now, and we're beginning to realize that as an archipelago, napakahalaga ng Navy at Air Force sa atin. And alam naman natin yan, maging noon hanggang ngayon, kitang-kita natin ang laki ng kakulangan natin. Napabayaan ng husto ang Navy. We have had a Navy, especially during my time, that could hardly go to sea, no? And an Air Force that could not fly, no? But now we are trying to catch up. Hindi masama na tayo ay makipag-ugnayan sa ating mga kaalyadong bansa katulad ng Estados Unidos. Because if we are trying to catch up, we need quick support. Considering na ang West Philippine Sea o yung South China Sea problem is not a problem of the Philippines versus China alone. Dapat rin nating intindihin na hindi tayo nag-iisa dito sa problema ito.
Multilateral ito.
Meron tayong mga kapitbahay din na merong stake at interest doon.
At tinitignan din nila yung China kung paano tayo tatratuhin ng China.
Tayo ang isa sa pinakamalapit. No? Well, of course, nandiyan ang Vietnam, Malaysia has a claim. No? Taiwan has a claim. Even Brunei has a claim. So, kung tutuusin, although Brunei does not have has not occupy any. Tayo ng Malaysia at Vietnam ang merong mga inookupahan. And noon pa man, naalala ko nung enjoy ako magpunta doon sa Kalayaan Island Group dahilan sa pristine ang tubig. Ngunit nakikita ko rin na ang focus natin has been to go along and use and make sure that our neighbors realize that this is not just our bilateral problem with China. Kaya ASEAN is playing a very important role. Kaya nung binabasa kong maigi yung position ng Pilipinas, no? Under the administration of President Noynoy Aquino, as articulated by Secretary Del Rosario, nakafocus sila sa yung tinatawag na zone of peace, freedom, friendship, and cooperation. Dati-rati, yung SOPFAN yan eh. Zone of freedom, peace, freedom, and neutrality.
Nawala yung neutrality.
Nawala na yung neutrality.
Hindi na pwede yun.
Kasi nauna yun nung araw, ang focus ay nuclear-free region. Ngayon, nakafocus tayo sa cooperation. So merong peace, freedom, and cooperation. Ang kooperasyon ay napakahalaga. Hindi, kung minsan pag binabasa natin yung mga titulo tungkol dito sa mga agreement na ito, they look like just words. Sa naintindihan natin na they're just words, but they are meaningful words. Now, the cooperation there is really broad. We are talking about our relationship with China. Ang China plays a very important role in ASEAN. Ang China, kasama dun sa 3, yung ASEAN plus 3.
Yes.
Ang tawag dyan ay dialogue partner. Napaka-importante yung dialogue partner niya. China, Japan, kasama ang Korea. So, pag inisip mo yung ang cooperation dyan, napaka-importante dun sa economic integration na hinahanap ng ASEAN. Na by 2015, hopefully we have a community. And that cannot happen without the participation of the richest countries in Asia, in the region, especially China. China plays a very important role. Pero tayo kung magkaminsan, alam mo, Eric, kasi tayo mga Pilipino, mahilig sa sabong eh.
Okay.
Naman tayo sa media.
Okay.
Malaki rin ang ating kasalanan
Gusto
dyan.
natin magpasabong.
Tayo sa sabong,
Oo.
tayo mga sultador tayo. Naalala kong si Rene Sagisagan, kinapulutan ko nung analogy yan. Ang isip natin lagi, sa sabong, dalawa lagi ang nag-aaway. Ganon kasimple yan. Naintindihan natin ang sabungan sapagkat yung sultador, pinagtutukaan yung dalawa.
Tapos laban na.
Laban yan, isa mamamatay. Hindi ganun kasimple ang problema natin sa international foreign relations.
More complex than that, actually.
It's always complex. Even our decision-making process is always complex. It is dangerous for us to oversimplify. Ngayon, meron mga nagsasabi ng araw, Orly, hindi kaya oversimplification yung ginagawa mo? Inaakusahan mo ang China, sinasabi mo, pabayaan mo na yung foreign relations.
Ang magsabi?
Ang magsabi niyan. Sabi ko, tama yan, I agree. Pero importante na maintindihan ng mga Chino na merong ibang mga sektor ng Pilipinas, ng populasyon ng Pilipinas, at nasa gobyerno, sa burokrasya, na very much concerned na maaaring hindi kasing lumanay at kasing delikado, very delicate, ang kanilang mga salita. Importante na mayroong silang mensaheng naririnig sa military na bagamat hindi tayo basag-ulero, ay hindi natin pababayaan.
Maninindigan tayo.
Na yurakan ang soberanya ng ating bansa.
Sa Inchik, maintindihan nila yan dahil may yin and yang yan sila.
Yan, importante yan.
That's very important. Alam niyo po, nung panahon ninyo, pagkakaalam ko, the DFA played an important role with dealings with China. There was a plan to put up a garrison. It was supposed to be approved already under FF Cruz. May budget na naaprubahan. But I don't know whether my sources are correct or not. But the DFA shut it down. May helicopter capability. And then ang sinabi daw ng DFA ay it will be viewed by China as highly provocative. Pero bago niya sagutin yan, we're going to pause for a few reminders and we will be joined by another guest. Pagbabalik po ng Republika. Muli po nagbabalik ang Republika at makakasama po natin ngayon si Commodore Rex Robles. Meron tayong mga pag-uusapan sa kanyang mga karanasan. Pero Secretary, Senator...
Orly na lang. I'm no longer a senator. I was a former secretary.
May kasabihan ho once a senator, always a senator. Pero ano kung masasabi ninyo? Kasi after you said about the creeping invasion, no senator today, in the past, I don't know in the future, has ever dared state it the way it should be seen. And this should continue to be stated publicly so that people will be aware that this is actually what is happening. And nung panahon ho ninyo, katulad nung nabanggit ko, bakit hindi ho natuloy yung mga ganong project na magkaroon ng parang military outpost dun sa mga areas na dapat meron tayong mga sundalo?
Meron tayong mga nagawa na, unfortunately, kadalasan, and ito naman napag-uusapan namin sa public administration sa UP, na ang isa sa pinakamahina sa atin sa pamamahala ay yung bang we do not build on what is done previously by those who preceded us. Parang umpisa tayo eh. Basta nagbagong administrasyon, umpisa. At yun, so we do not actually build on. And this is largely because we also have not been building institutions.
Okay.
Kinakailangan yung mga institusyon natin sa pamamahala, yun ang ating alagaan. Ang importante, hindi yung, ito nangyari nung panahon ni Pagpalagay, panahon ni yun eh.
Kalimutan na natin.
Kalimutan natin. Iba naman yung style nila eh. Iba. Meron at merong maganda't maaring they don't agree with some, pero ano ba naman yung pulutin natin at tignan natin ang mga problema natin sa pangmatagalan. Ang isa pa sa kulang sa atin yung kultura ng pag-iisip ng pangmahabaan. Or yung tinatawag sa English na a culture of strategic thinking. And when you are confronted with a problem with a country like China, yan ang pangmahabaan kung mag-isip dyan. No? Yan ang sinasabi nilang, this is a game of infinite patience. In the end, China will win. Biruan lagi yan. Sapagkat ang pananaw nila sa mga problema nila ay hindi pang maiklian. Laging pang mahabaan yan. At yan, kung tutusin, ang tingin nila lagi ay daan at libong taon.
Correct.
Naalala ko nga, hindi ba sinasabi na si Zhou Enlai tinanong tungkol sa kanyang pananaw, ang epekto ng French Revolution ng 1700s na sa struktura ng international movement ng revolusyon. Ang sabi niya, it's too early to tell. Napakaaga.
Okay.
No? Ang example lang yan ng kung paano sila mag-isip. At sa kanila, i-assert nila. O tayo merong amin yan. At yung 9 dash point, dash lines na sinasabi, na siyang naguhit na yan, na ang sinasabi nila yung buong West Philippine Sea o South China Sea, it's a Chinese lake.
Okay.
Kung ang pananaw natin, I'm talking about our especially common Philippine, hindi importante yan sapagkat yan naman kung tutuusin, bakit tayo makikipagbangayan sa mga atolls and coral reefs. Pag inisip mo, sabi mo yin-yang, no? Napaka-importante sa atin yan sapagkat wala nang pinag-aawayan ngayon na maliit na bagay. Sapagkat ang pinag-uusapan natin dyan, hindi lamang langis, hindi lamang
gas reserves.
Environment natin, yung ating pagkain, food security natin, dyan tayo. Diyan nandyan yung At ang pinakamaganda naman doon sa kabila niyan, yan ay communication, it's a lane of communication of commerce.
Yes.
na nagdara ang mga bapor dyan sa trade. Napaka-importante. So,
Open
hindi
lanes
lang
dapat
tayo yan.
Oo.
Hindi tayo lang ang merong interest dyan. Kaya importante na grupo-grupo ngayon. Ngayon, yung binanggit ko kanina yung C, doon sa Zone of Peace, Freedom, FFC, cooperation. Diyan pumapasok yung ating pakikipagkaibigan, kaalyansa with the United States, at yung ibang mga kaalyado natin sa ASEAN. Maaaring yung ibang mga ASEAN countries, iba-ibang level din yan.
Yes.
Yung sinasabi ng mga kapitbahay natin sa ASEAN at kasama natin, wala naman kami, hindi naman kami lahat merong claim dyan.
May interest dyan.
O sasabihin ng mga bansa, kayo lang ng Malaysia at Vietnam, although Indonesia has no direct claim, pero apektado silang lahat. Ang sinasabi naman natin, kahit na yung landlocked na Laos, Lao PDR, apektado yun sapagkat komersyo ang pinag-uusapan natin diyan.
Madaming dumadaan sa lugar na yan.
At kung susundin natin yung mga batas ng kalikasan, yung environment, everything is interconnected. This is true with the globalized world.
Correct.
Economically, militarily, everything is interconnected.
Okay.
Napakaano. Ngayon, lagi naman sinasabi, Navy, dapat.
Yes.
Nandito si Rex, tama yan.
Yes.
Ito, segue na ito sa kanyang
Okay.
no? Napabayaan natin. It came to a point na pag inisip mo, China meron ng hindi lang submarino, may base ng submarine sa Hainan Island. We have to really assert our position. Sapagkat hindi na natin mapapatrolyo. Pati yung ating mga nangingisda, traditionally, kung sinasabi ng mga Chinese, traditionally nangingisda sila, meron tayong karapatan, even if we accept their argument that they have been traditionally fishing in the area, more so with us because of the proximity of the waters that we have in that region. And spawning ground, yun naman yung mga isda at saka yung mga marine life naman natin, hindi naman nakakaintindi ng political borders yan.
Yes.
We are all interconnected. Kaya, I give the floor now to Commodore.
Commodore Rex, the last time you were here, you said there are two policy statements regarding what is happening in the Western Philippine Sea and in Panatag. Number one, it is only our future leaders who can decide it. If you remember, you said that. And number two, it is only a bilateral issue. It is never multilateral. Tatandaan nyo yun.
It's not that I want it that way, but it's developing.
It's what they said.
It was developing that way.
Oo. Sa palagay ho ninyo, in terms of our naval capability, ano dapat ang pwede na natin gawin dyan sa lugar na yan? What should be our position there? Kasi ang nadidinig ko, we're talking about mini submarines. Yan ang mga nadidinig natin. That's in our shopping list.
Mini submarines are good. Yeah.
In the Air Force, we're talking about F-16. Hindi na yung AB, but yung C. Kasi yung AB daw, merong mga defects.
No, but when we talk about those things, dapat maalala natin na it takes a time to be able to arrive at a point na magamit mo yung F-16, na magamit mo yung submarine. Alam mo, nag-atrophy ang Navy natin. It did not stagnate eh. Nag-atrophy. Wala na tayong anti-submarine capability, yung mine warfare natin, wala na. Pinabayaan natin yon. These are basic naval capabilities na dapat in-nurture natin. Hindi natin ginawa yun eh. So, tama, okay ako sa usapan na ganun, pero take a long time. Kasi kailangan mag-train ka ng tao, ang technology mo dapat level, tataasan mo. So, you're talking about 10, 15 years. And we need to do something
immediately.
Immediately.
What is immediate for you?
What is immediate for me is within 72 hours, dozens of fishing boats should have been there with civilians. And those civilians...
Anong klaseng fishing boats po ito?
Some from Masinloc. The Masinloc fishermen go to Scarborough regularly eh. So we just go to Masinloc.
Bakit pinagbawalan ng gobyerno natin?
Hindi
ba
sila pinagbawalan.
Ano?
Umatras sila kasi walang nagsusuporta eh. pwede kasing isuporta yan. What government could have done was to say, we do not want trouble in the area, so we are putting up a blockade. We will no longer allow fishermen to come. But this blockade will be the one to feed the fishermen, make arrests in the daytime so that the press can see the arrests, but feed the fishermen again back, put them back again. So there is a continuous, yung sinasabi natin kanina, continuous presence. And inisip ko, how difficult could that be? Parang hindi naman gaano kahirap kasi punta ka lang doon sa Masinloc, there are fishermen there who cannot, hindi nila alam kung anong gagawin, wala na silang mapuntahan.
May tanong ko po sa inyo, di ba yung ating Philippine Coast Guard, nagpapalit-palit yung barko niyan, ano? Kung iilan lang yan, kailangan bumalik, pumunta support, tapos may papalit. Hindi ba pwedeng mag-standby yun doon, tapos may mag-supply na lang na barko?
Pwede rin. Oh, that's
which is better as far as being a Philippine Navy person is concerned?
Mas
mabuting nakalayag na lang
mas
sila doon.
kung nandun siya kasi mas madali magdala ng supply ship.
Oo, kaysa umalis siya doon.
Kasi kung dalawa sila, fuel-wise, medyo
magastos.
Hindi gaano malaking diferensya. Basta ang point lang, dapat may tao doon.
Okay.
May tao doon palagi.
Should we make any arrest as in terms of yung mga Chinese poachers?
Kasi hindi natin kaya. We showed already na hindi natin kaya eh.
Okay.
'Di ba? So ang gawin ko, sa tingin ko, sa akin lang 'to. We arrest our own fishermen, kunyari. Sabihin natin, we do not want too many fishermen there. In other words, we reduce the number of people, ibo-blockade natin. But we allow them actually to go back so that the China cannot complain. 'Di ba? But we have to be careful kasi the area is covered by satellites, both US and China.
Di makikita rin nito na pinapabayaan natin.
Depende kung anong gagawin natin. Depende kasi may mga UOU tayo eh. Pwede silang gapangin. There are ways to do it without saying details na mahirap i-prove na ginagawa natin yun. Pero ang importante, may mga mangingisda tayo roon. At saka, halimbawa, yung mangingisda natin, pupunta doon, magdadala ng kawayan, maglalagay sila ng badyaw house doon. Anong gagawin nila? Are they going to shoot it down? Are they going
Ano mangyari kung civilian nga maglagay ng nipahat doon or whatever? Or a floating whatever in that area?
I cannot say, pero interesting ang mangyari. Kung ano man ang reaction ng China, it will be interesting.
Tapos civilian in nature?
Totally civilian. Dapat walang sundalo. Pero sa akin lang, may mga nagsusuporta na may mga basnig tayo na mothership, may mga malilit na mga bangka sa Guam, na sinusuporta ng gobyerno discreetly, and then make a point na these people have been doing that since a long time, and they are just resuming what they are doing after they were disturbed by the Chinese. We have to make that point, and that is to me the most ground level reaction that we can do in the meantime, kasi pinakita na natin na wala tayong panlaban eh, in terms of hardware, in terms of doon sa usapan ng mga foreign affairs. Remember, sabi ni Del Rosario, in foreign affairs, sabi niya, we are only a few steps away from solving this. Privately, he had no idea what to do. He was asking people what to do. And yet, he makes announcements as if progress is being made. We cannot have that kind of behavior in our responsible officials.
When I was in Hong Kong, ang lumabas sa mga newspapers sa Hong Kong, ang lumabas sa news agency ng China, number one, the Philippines never claimed these areas. Why is it claiming it again? Number two, sabi nila, the Philippines wants to bring this into an international forum. How can it bring this area, which is already owned by a sovereign country, which is China?
Alam mo, dyan pumapasok naman yung UNCLOS, United Nations Convention of the Laws. Isa yung 200-mile exclusive economic zone. At pasok na pasok yan within our exclusive economic zone. Kaya importante na yung sinatama, yun naman yung position ng gobyerno natin, na ang issue riyan ay dalhin natin at gamitin natin ang mekanismo ng UNCLOS sa International Court para malaman natin kung ano. Ngayon, obviously, isa sa mga problema sa international, to use the international mechanism, you have to have the consent. Two parties have to go
agree
to agree. Maaring China has made a clear statement already about that, hindi po pwede. But meron naman tayong mekanismo at si Secretary De Rosario has in a statement in Bali, I remember, in ASEAN, focused on the ASEAN mechanism, to be able to solve this particular problem. I would, though, be a little bit careful about the terminology of blockade.
Okay.
Kasi sa international relations, sa foreign relations, may technical meaning ang blockade. It's an act of war. At yan, tantamount na nagdeklara ka.
But it's the blockade of the Chinese. We are blockading
Our
again
people.
our people from
Violating.
Di ba? Kunyari.
Akala ko we prevent them from,
But that will justify why we have Navy ships there. Our Navy ships are there to maintain order. Because the people in Masinloc are hungry, we can long prevent them from going to the area to fish because they've been doing that. And where these people who are saying that, where is the Philippines? We were there for 40, 50 years ago. And every year, as far as I can remember in the Navy, we have been going there and doing target practice. The Americans were doing it.
Why didn't the Chinese claim
That's right.
Panatag when the Americans were here?
Why were they quiet about
I'm
it?
asking a stupid question.
No,
that's a valid question.
actually, they were...
Why weren't the Chinese claiming it when
At
the
in the
Americans
first
were
place
here?
noon, mahina pa sila ng konti. Ang
Okay.
talagang lumalapit dito noon, Russian aircraft.
Okay.
And even if you talk about 20 years ago, 10 years ago, mahina pa sila eh. Ngayon malakas na sila eh. They feel that they're strong enough to continue the creeping activity. Ganun lang.
Now, the next stupid question is, why didn't the government decide to enter into, try to cultivate American oil companies to explore these areas, to dig for gas reserves, oil reserves? Because sabi nga nila, wherever there is oil, there is where the Americans are. The Americans always follow the oil, and the U.S. Navy is never far behind when that happens. Why didn't we do that?
Yung attractive area kasi, ever since, kaya nga si Marcos decided to have that area and develop it, because nakikita niya may mga homestead noon eh. All the homesteads are so-called are concentrated in the Kalayaan Island group.
Okay.
Because the Americans have been there with their ships, yung kanilang, ang tinatawag nila yung mga Glomar Challenger 1 and 2,
yes.
have been there in the 50s and 60s and have been taking samples already. So, in short, the most oil could be found in that area.
Yes.
Actually, ang sa Scarborough, probably gas.
Gas,
because
correct.
ngayon, from the energy point of view, the next best thing, or actually the next thing after oil is gas. So, ang China naman, it's not only energy it's the fact that they have to strengthen their position. They look a little bit strange having only one area. Nagkamali na tayo pero pinayagan nila sila, no? Pero iisa lang yung area nila Paracels is a little bit far So they need one more. Kumbaga sa game of yung sa laro nila na Go, you have two eyes. Yung sa area territorial game nila, to have an area na sa iyo talaga, two living eyes. Gusto nila, hindi nila pwedeng isang mata lang Pangalawang mata ito nila Sana.
Do we have to draw the line here in Panatag?
Yung sinasabi...
Is it a line in the sand that says, kailangan manindigan na tayo dito? Kasi pag hindi, the next thing, baka Palawan.
Pero
kasi buong South China Sea, kinukuha na nila
Not in an aggressive way siguro. If the fishermen, if we work through the fishermen, and they are from Masinloc, and if they are arrested by the Chinese, it will turn out that they are Masinloc fishermen. They'll have a problem
Ikwento mo kay Senator Mercado about the incident, the vignette about the President Ferdinand Marcos visiting General Headquarters of Camp Aguinaldo regarding
yung
Kalayaan.
Kalayaan,
Pakikwento lang kayo.
Well, anyway, I may have told you the story, but for the benefit of everybody
the audience
else,
also, yes.
President Marcos kasi does not act unilaterally. He believes in completed staff work. And not only completed staff work, talagang masinsinan. So, whenever he does not agree with or he has a plan, he lets you do first muna ng mga proposals. Pero one time, he went to the Campo Aguinaldo to tell us to write, actually to tell Minister Enrile, to write a handbook for the foreign affairs. He does not trust foreign affairs to do it themselves.
Okay.
To write a handbook
Very
on
interesting.
Calayan Islands.
Okay.
And I noticed nung kami gumagawa, no, sabi, the islands were populated. Ano, yun ang isa sa mga sentences na ginawa namin. He corrected it. He said, some of the islands.
Okay.
That's only one example of how lawyerly and how deeply he thinks about the area. But anyway, I have a copy of the original article that we have, which he edited in his handwriting.
He personally was interested in this.
Yes.
The president visited the...
Well, he did not only visit once. Pagka importante, he goes there and goes to the production branch where the work, where the real work is going on. So, ganun, he goes there and he will tell. Meron siyang grupong tao na mga general yan, no? He will give orders. And then nandun ako nakaupo sa malayo, may order din ako. Hanapin mo yung speech ni Gok Sing-Sui, ganon. So, after about 2 hours, he will start collecting. Oh, what happened to my order? What happened? Then he comes to me and says, oh, where is the speech? And I go to the library and I copy it. Ano? And he starts to edit it. Kulang yung kama, kulang yung period. Ganon gagaling yung mama.
With the last 2.5 minutes, Senator, your views. What would you like to see happen in the next year, in the next 2 years, to ease up the tensions in this area?
Well, talagang ang mekanismo na pag-asa natin dito ay ang mga mekanismo na in existence. Yung United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea and the international judicial mechanism to solve problems.
How do we bring in the Americans?
At ganun din yung ASEAN. Napaka-importante ng pagkilos natin sa Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Ngayon, wala namang problema sa Estados Unidos dahil sa meron naman tayong Mutual Defense Treaty. Bagamat kami, no, nasa Senado, ay bumoto kami para alisin ang base militar. That did not cancel or repudiate the Mutual Defense Treaty. At ayon sa existing Mutual Defense Treaty, na importante itong alliance na yan. Now is the time for us to make sure that we are able to develop as quickly as possible our capability to have a credible military that is not going to be offensive, but to make sure that we send the message that as far as the sovereignty of our country is concerned, we are not going to take it lightly. We are ready to fight for it.
And it's non-negotiable. Last 1 minute.
Yung Mutual Defense Treaty, we're always talking about Article 1, which is defense of attack. But there's Article 2, which we are not using, which says both countries commit themselves to develop each other's capability to resist armed aggression. Dapat doon tayo pumunta. Sabihin natin sa Amerikano, paano? You are not developing our capability to resist armed aggression. It's not enough that you are there to help us when attack comes. But Article 2 says you should develop us. What did you do in the past 20, 30 years? You've been giving us junk.
Okay.
Diba? Something like that.
Okay. Wala na po tayong panahon. It's been a very fruitful 1 hour. We'd like to thank, of course, Commodore Rex Robles. Of course, the gray hair shows wisdom. And of course,
I hope.
And of course,
the receding hairline.
The Senator, Defense Secretary, mahirap talagang imbitahan to, pero malaki po pasasalamat natin dahil siya lang po ang sumigaw na nagsabing China's creeping invasion, and that should be on top of our minds and consciousness with the developments and the phenomenon happening in our front pages. Ito po si Eric Espina, palagi po nagsasabi sa inyo, magmasid, makialam, higit sa lahat po ay manindigan, sapagkat wala pong magmamahal sa Pilipino kung hindi ang Pilipino. Daghang salamat, maayong gabi kaninyong tanan.